almost there, guys. Oh, yay! And there we go. There's Windows 11. Hey guys, Phil here, hope you're all well. What you're looking at in front of you is my spare laptop that I managed to triple boot Windows 10, Windows 7 and Windows XP on. But what I've done now, as you can probably see it, is I've replaced Windows 10 with Windows 11. Yep, we're triple booting Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP. Now if you want to know how I did that, stick around and I'll show you. Now before I start showing you how you triple boot a laptop with Windows 11 instead of Windows 10, what I just want to mention is this video is a follow-on from my previous video where I triple booted a laptop with Windows 10, Windows 7 and Windows XP. I'm not going to go through those steps. My advice, if you want to get to this point, is watch that first video. I'll put a link in the description below, and then once you've got to the point where you're installing Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows XP, what I'll do then is, this is the follow-on video, and I'll show you how you install Windows 11 over the top of Windows 10 and triple boot Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP. So yeah, my advice is go and watch that first video. Once you get to the point where you're triple booting Windows 10, Windows 7 and Windows XP, once you get to that point, then come and watch this video, because obviously the only thing I'll be doing in this video is replacing Windows 10 with Windows 11. But yeah, it's super easy guys. So yeah, go and watch that video first, then come and watch this video. Now just a quick footnote before I get on to showing you how you triple boot Windows 11. I want to talk about this laptop. This is a different laptop to my previous one, but I use the same technique as I did in that one. The only difference was this doesn't have a DVD-ROM drive in it, so I had to install Windows from USB stick, but everything installed exactly the same. I didn't change anything. Everything I did was exactly the same I did in the first video. I got to the point where I was triple booting Windows 10, Windows 7 and Windows XP, and obviously this is the next step to replace Windows 10 with Windows 11. But there was two reasons why I opted for this laptop. First, it's a little bit better than the previous laptop. It's got a little better processor in it, it's got more RAM, but yeah, I can still triple boot it. This one supports secure boot and UEFI, but obviously if you're going to do this you have to disable it in the BIOS, where the other one didn't support UEFI and it didn't support secure boot. But like I said, if you're going to triple boot Windows 10, Windows 7 and Windows XP, you have to disable secure boot and you have to disable UEFI as well. But yeah, you can watch that previous video guys, I show you how to do that. And the last reason why I chose this laptop, and you can probably see why, is the screen. It's not as glary as the other laptop. The other laptop was like a mirror and it was absolutely shocking. You could see things behind me, you could see me in the image, you could see what sort of top I was wearing, you could see everything behind me. The reflections were absolutely horrid, and I was like, I can't use that laptop, it's just not going to happen. So I had this one spare. You've probably seen this one before. This is the one I did my JTAG in the Xbox 360 on. It's the one I use to flash all the Xbox 360 drives I've done on my channel. Yeah, and I managed to triple boot it. But yeah, back to the video, guys. I'm going to show you how you replace the Windows 10 bootloader, install Windows 11, and a Windows 11's bootloader will take over booting Windows 7 and Windows XP as well. And yeah, it's a big FU to Microsoft to say this laptop is unsupported. Yeah, it's unsupported, but it's triple booting Windows, including Windows 11. Yeah, nice try, Microsoft. Better luck next time. What I want to do now is download Windows 11 Media Creation Tool, and I'm going to use that to format and prepare a USB stick with Windows 11 setup on. So I'm just going to go Windows 11, and there it is. It's already done it for me. Media Creation Tool, click there. I'm going to click on the link on Microsoft's website. Now I have a number of options, guys. This laptop doesn't have an optical drive in it. If it did, I could download the ISO, burn that to a DVD-R, and then obviously install Windows 11 that way. This first way, where it says Windows 11 Install Assistant, don't do it that way. The reason for that is because you can't trick the setup.exe when you use the Windows 11 Install Assistant. So you have to create the media and copy it to a USB stick. And to do that, it's very easy. I'm just going to click on this download button, and I'm going to save the Windows 11 Media Creation Tool to my E drive, save it there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my USB stick and install Windows 11 setup on it. I'm ready to install Windows setup onto my USB stick. Now I've already gone ahead and formatted my USB stick. You don't have to do this because Windows 11 Media Creation Tool does this for you. So just be aware, if you're going to use this, just make sure that there's nothing on your USB stick you want to keep, because it will format it before it actually installs Windows 11 setup on it. So I'm going to pop in my USB stick. I'm going to run the Windows 11 Media Creation Tool. Let's give it a few seconds to get things ready. Okay, I'm going to click the user license agreement. I'm going to accept. Now it's asking me what version of Windows I want. You can change it if you want to. Obviously I can install a different language version of Windows 11, but I'm going to keep everything as it is. Next. Now it's asking me, do I want to create an ISO so I can burn it to a DVD-R and then obviously install it that way. This laptop doesn't have a optical drive, so there's no point doing that. So I'm going to click the USB flash drive option. I'm going to click next. Now this is very important, guys. You need to know what drive your USB stick is, because if you click the wrong one, it will format your hard drive. So I'm going to click this one. I already know it's the H drive. That's the drive for the USB stick. And remember, please make sure there's nothing on the USB stick that you want to keep, because it will format the USB stick. So I'm going to click next, and it's just going to get a few things ready. And just going to sit back now and wait for it to format the USB stick, copy the Windows 11 install files over to the USB stick, and when it's done that, I'll come back. And there we go, we're all finished. Windows 11 Media Creation Tool has finished formatting and installing the setup files onto that USB stick. So I'm ready now to install Windows 11 on that laptop. Triple boot Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP. So let's get crack-a-lacking. as you can see, I've booted into Windows 10. What I want to do now is install Windows 11. And what will happen is Windows 11's bootloader will take over where Windows 10 bootloader was. So we'll be able to boot Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP, hopefully. But the problem with running the setup on the USB stick I created with Windows installation media, the problem with running that is the setup will do checks on this laptop, and it will check to see if the CPU is compatible, it will check to see if secure boot is enabled, and it will check to see if I have a trusted platform module 2.0, and it's going to find none of those. And the setup will then refuse to install Windows 11. But there is a way around that. We can trick the setup into thinking it's installing Windows Server. So I'm going to show you how you do that right now. Let's get installing Windows 11. So I'm going to take my USB stick, I'm going to plug it into the laptop. There you go, you hear the ding diggy ding. It's recognized it. I'm going to go over to this PC here, and it should show up. Move the thing down, there it is. You can see it, there it is. Now what I need to do now is run a command prompt, and because obviously we're going to trick the installer, if I was to just natively run this, which I've just done, it would flat out refuse to install Windows, because like I said, there's no trusted platform module 2.0. This laptop's not set up for secure boot, and I think the processor is not supported by Windows 11 either. So this is what you call truly unsupported hardware, and you can see it's going through the setup. Guys, I'm going to cancel this because I know it's going to fail, so I'm not going to bother with this. So I'll just let this finish and then I'll come back. Now just before I cancel this, guys, you can see it says install Windows 11, but I want to show you a trick to installing Windows 11, but this setup program will think it's Windows Server, so it won't do any checks. It won't do a TPM 2.0, it won't do a CPU check, it won't do a secure boot check, and it will just install Windows 11 thinking it's Windows Server. So I'm just going to come out of that, guys, because obviously if I carry on with that install, it would turn around and say your PC doesn't meet the minimum requirements for Windows 11. So I'm just going to close that. There we go, and that's that closed. What I need to do now is run a command prompt so I can run a command on the setup.exe and trick it into thinking we're installing Windows Server instead of Windows 11. Now to do that, it's very, very easy. I can press the Windows key, press R, type CMD, and I'm in a command prompt. Also, what you need to know is where your Windows setup is, and you can see it's G drive. Then all I have to do is just type G drive, and I'm there. I'm ready to run the command prompt. But I've got an easier way of doing it because I've set up a right click button, and you can see open MS-DOS prompt here. So there you go, it's super quick, but you can use the other way if you want to. Now what we need to do is trick that setup.exe to thinking it's installing Windows Server instead of Windows 11, because when we set up Windows Server doesn't have any of the checks for the TPM 2.0, doesn't do a CPU check to see if it's supported, and it doesn't look at secure boot to see if that's enabled. And it will just install Windows 11 thinking it's Windows Server. So the command is very easy. It's just setup/product and server. And that's it. That's all we have to type. We press enter and the setup should run, and there we go. we're starting the setup, and now if you remember it said installing Windows 11. Now the setup thinks it's installing Windows Server. So let's go next. Now what I'll do, guys, is I'll let this go through. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's checking for updates, doing its thing and that type of thing. So when it's ready to install, I'll come back and you'll see it. And you can see, look, it thinks it's installing Windows Server. Nice little trick this, guys. This trick's been known for a long time and Microsoft has not patched it yet. So yeah, it's a nice little trick. There we go, guys. We've got to the part where it's asking me to accept the license. I'm going to select accept. It's going to ask me what do I want to keep. I'm going to keep all my files, settings and apps, because obviously we will be triple booting this system. So I'm going to click next, and now it's just going to go through checking the PC just to make sure everything's right before it goes to install. So again, guys, I'll let this finish. You can see it's checking for updates now. Now we've already gone past the bit where it would have failed the install. You know, we've gone past that bit where it gone, no, your PC is not compatible. We've gone past that bit. So it should be plain sailing now, guys. I'm just going to sit back, relax, let this thing do its thing. I'll come back. And we're ready to install, guys. You can see it still thinks it's installing Windows Server. But if you take a look, we're ready to install Windows 11 Pro. And I'm going to keep my files, settings and applications. And I'm just going to go install. And we're off to the races, guys. Here you go. You can still see it thinks it's installing Windows Server. It's not. It's installing Windows 11. I can guarantee you that. So yeah, I'm going to let this install. Then when it's finished and we've got Windows 11 up and running, I'll come back. Yay! Windows updates. Don't you just love it? Oh, we're almost there, guys. Oh, yay! And there we go. There's Windows 11. Unbelievable, right? Unsupported hardware, my arse. And there we go. That's Windows 11 installed. Now, as Windows 11 bootloader, kept our Windows 7 and Windows XP. So let's restart. I'm going to Alt F4. I'm going to restart. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Windows 11's bootloader should still load Windows 7 and Windows XP. And there's Windows 11's bootloader. And there we go. They're still there, guys. They're still there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to boot into Windows 11 because I just want to make sure everything is installed correctly. I want to get all my settings all set up and everything like that. And there we go. We booted into Windows 11. What I'm going to do now is just spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes just going through, make sure all my settings are all okay and everything like that. And then once I've gone through that, I'll come back and we'll see if this thing still boots Windows 7 and Windows XP. I've gone through Windows 11, making sure my settings are all okay, and they are. What I did is I moved the start menu back to the bottom left corner I don't like it when it's in the middle. So I went back to the bottom left hand corner. So yeah, let's reboot this thing and see if we can boot into Windows 7 and Windows XP. So I'm going to Alt F4, I'm going to restart the system. And there's Windows 11's bootloader. Now I have changed something, guys, you'll see it in a minute. What I've done, just move that so it doesn't time out, I've changed the description of Windows 11. The reason for that is I like to know what version of Windows it is. You can see it's Windows 11 Pro, and it also gives the version of Windows 24H2 x64. So yeah, now to do that you use BCD edit. Now if you watch my previous video where I show you how to obviously triple boot a system like this, I also show you how you rename these as well by changing the description, but I just did that off camera. These two I didn't have to do because they were already done, but once Windows 11 installed over the top of Windows 10, it came up with just Windows 11. So I just went in there, used BCD edit, changed the description to Windows 11 Pro 24H2 x64. But yeah, let's see if we can boot Windows 7. So let's go down to Windows 7, we'll press enter. Now the system will reset, and then Windows 7's bootloader will take over the booting of Windows 7, and you can see there's Windows 7's bootloader. And there we go, there's Windows 7. So if I go to computer, right click, go properties, and if we take a look at the bottom, you can see Windows is activated and we've got the genuine logo. So let's reboot again and see if we can boot into Windows XP. There we go, there's Windows 11's bootloader. And there's our options. Let's go down to Windows XP Pro. Now again, the system will reset and Windows XP's bootloader will take over. And there we go. And there's Windows XP. So now we're triple booting Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP. So again, let's Alt F4, I'll restart, and this time we'll boot into Windows 11. What I'll do is I'll just let the timer run down. You can see I've got the timer for 5 seconds, then it will automatically boot Windows 11. And there we go. There's Windows 11 booted. And I'll show you Windows 11 is activated. So if I go to Properties, and move down, and if I click on Product Key and Activation, and there we go, activation status, and we've got the activated tick, and as you can see it's Windows 11 Pro. So yeah, there we go guys, we are triple booting Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP on this unsupported laptop. There you go guys, triple booting Windows 11, Windows 7 and Windows XP. Now, this laptop is now a modern and retro beast. I can do all the modern stuff on it with Windows 11, and I can do all the retro stuff with Windows 7 and Windows XP. So much for unsupported hardware, Microsoft. Total BS. So yeah, there you go guys, hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Winner winner, triple booting Windows 11. Yeah, Microsoft BS as usual. Catch you next time guys.